Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. God, forgot to put my teeth in. Steve and I are back as we continue our look into the Hammer horror franchise with The Evil of Frankenstein, directed by Freddie Francis. Upon returning to his home village to continue his experimental research, the destitute Dr. Frankenstein revives his old creature, but a hypnotist wants the monster to control for himself. This movie was made on a budget of £130,000.
Was it any news on what it made?
No, kept that quiet, and I can understand why.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one because the opening scene with the body snatcher made it look as though it set the scene, and you thought, oh God, body snatching, he's doing it again, sort of thing. He's
not even waiting for them to be in the grave.
No, that's right. And I thought, oh, this is going to be good. It failed dismally. Absolutely.
Yeah. I wonder if Terence Fisher had have directed this, and got the. But then again, The Curse of Frankenstein wasn't brilliant as a sequel.
No,
it was watchable. It was all right, but it kind of got a bit convoluted. This is just a pure cash grab.
This is one of their sort of second directors, isn't he? You would have thought he would have had some way to stick some moof into it.
It looks like a Hammer horror movie. We'll give it that, because it's been looking a bit strange last couple of entries.
Yeah, you got the old the scenery, haven't you? That gives it the Hammer horror feel, like the castles and the walls and things like that.
There's a scene at the we've got somebody walking towards the watermill at the beginning, and you can just see that it's a painting slapped onto the side and the path. But that still looks better than CGI today.
Even the carriages at the first couple of scenes going when they're leaving the village, you can see that it's a painting on the side and coming back, because he comes back, doesn't he? As they nearly knock over the girl.
Yeah. Oh God, we'll get to her. That was a strange.
I just didn't see the sense of that one.
No, it was a. But I've been talking about this a lot. Random characters appearing in movies and franchises for absolutely no reason and serving no purpose. I was having a conversation about that last night, actually. You just insert a character and give them absolutely no reason to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's but yeah, as soon as that opening scene of the body snatch is over, it sort of seems to go. It was all like too fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The policeman or the reverend, wasn't it, knocked on the door and told him he was being a naughty boy again, and then the policeman says, "I know you." And then I mean, if you were in hiding, as he was supposedly was, and he had the mask on, why would you stand there and go, "You're a thief"?
Oh God, don't even start me with that. This is where it just devolves into farce. But even back to the original body snatching scene, the guy doing it, you'd almost expect him to be in a carry-on skit.
Yeah.
Laughing and stuff. Very, very strange. Yeah, I'm still getting feedback.
I'm
still getting feedback. Do you want to pull your microphone forward a bit?
Hello.
Yeah, it's just it's hitting the speaker and it's like bouncing back, and I don't like hearing me. We're here to hear you, not me. I think that's better. Yep. Yeah, I think it's just picking up the microphone.
I love you, microphone.
You can't have to tell somebody's still in a good mood and they've been on holiday, eh?
Yeah. Well, come back to this.
He's a bit rosy around the gills.
Very true. Very true.
I don't do sunbathing.
I wear a lot of hats, believe me. I cover myself. Actually, I didn't. I've got sunburn on my arms and my legs, but I always keep a hat on. Oh yeah. I lost that. It cost me 25 quid for a new hat over there because we were on the boat and I had my hat on and I went to pick up the camera and the hat went, whee! I thought, oh, whose hat? Yeah. But I bought another one. So.
You didn't buy it. You get one of the stands. Usually they have leather ones and stuff and handcrafted and quite cheap. Aye, but
yeah,
I like the fact, right? So we've got the body in, and then we basically get reintroduced to Peter Cushing's Frankenstein. And I like the way they did the opening credits.
Yeah.
So they have Victor Frankenstein basically about to cut a heart out. And all the way through the opening credit, he's just going, just making the motions. But it was clever because the film didn't stop for the credits. It sort of carried on that scene.
Yeah.
And then just straight back into the movie again. So I liked it. It was a clever use of using the film and the credits together.
Yeah. I thought the music was okay as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of
until about halfway through, and then they start putting in random comedy jingles, and you're like, "Why are you doing this?"
There was a sense of comedy in it because just before the bed scene where he tied the thing to it, and
oh my god, that would not have.
The guy went to shoulder the thing, and the policeman looked at him as if to say, "I'll do it." And then, it's like
it felt like a Mask of Zorro or something, just ridiculous. There was an undertone of ridiculousness about it, like the whole movie. It's almost like they wanted to make a comedy.
Yeah, but you can't make a comedy of Frankenstein unless you're Mel Brooks.
Yeah. But it just doesn't. If you're going to make a comedy, commit.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating because Vincent Price is playing straight, or sorry, Peter Cushing is playing straight. A lot of the guy played Zoltan wasn't. I think he was drunk, actually drunk, not pretend to be drunk.
Oh, yeah.
His acting was abysmal.
But that's the bit I didn't get. Why? It just didn't fit in, hypnotizing the monster. It just, I mean, they might as well have got Matt Lucas to do it. Lift the eyes, still look around the eyes. You're under, isn't it? It's stupid. It was just a silly storyline in my eyes. But,
like I said, it went from the beginning of he just won't stop. So he's in a watermill, and actually, for somebody who's destitute, like he can afford some nice places.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't mind being able to afford a fully functioning watermill, not even for experiments, just to live in, because you could turn that into something nice.
Yeah.
I got the impression of like the work mill scene when they're trying to start the watermill up. I'm like, somebody's going to lose a finger or a hand.
Yeah. One trying to pull down, the other one trying to do the rotating thing.
Yeah.
To caught your fingers, no problem.
Oh, that you'd be gone. Like there'd be nothing left.
Yeah.
Like no if buts or maybes. And then I don't know, just even that farcical aspect of nicking the body, like, and the guy taking it straight to the watermill, where basically the police and everybody's in pursuit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
The priest was funny in that when he takes a little girl with him to point out the grave robber, finds him straight away. You better tell me, Sonny Jim, where you went with that body, naughty boy. Sure enough.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. But then why? The little girl ran through the forest herself when she saw the body being. I mean, how many little girls would run into a forest after seeing a dead body be stolen? Right? Like most kids would sit there and scream in the corner, wouldn't they?
Yeah. It was a bit, like I said, there's a farcical element to the whole movie.
Yeah.
and Peter Cushing still hasn't learned how to fight.
Oh, he's if only.
Like the police arrive, and that fight scene was ridiculous.
It's the only time he acts wooden, isn't it? When he fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get it. He's like all hands and legs and throws his head around, and it's like, oh man. Somebody take him to a boxing ring and teach him even just how to stand and throw a punch.
Yeah. Did you also notice in different scenes, like at the first place and then at the second place, they use the same actors as extras. So you'd see like an actor dressed, quite smartly in one, and then in the next he's in a different scene with a different crowd, dressed in scruffs, and it's they sort of reused actors in different scenes, the same actors.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Like, this thing feels half baked.
Yeah.
Like, they're even bother keeping the extras out of sight. Like, it's just the whole thing feels thrown together. I think after the last couple of movies we've looked at, they were desperate to get back in form again, and they thought, let's make a Frankenstein movie with Peter Cushing. That'll do it.
Yeah. Who done the script on this one? I can't remember.
Pass.
Was it their normal writer, Anthony Hines? It was one of their normal writers, which surprises me.
Just like I said, the whole thing has a half-arsed sort of don't care, get this thing out as quickly as possible, just make it happen.
I was reading that there was a problem why it wasn't released earlier, because Universal were claiming the copyright or something to Frankenstein.
Because they used the Universal Monster template.
Yeah.
Like, they used the Boris Karloff template. It looks like a Universal Monster, Frankenstein when you see the thing. What I don't understand is we'll have a flashback, and he says he only attempted this once, but there's only been 2 movies. He's attempted it twice.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he didn't mention it. And also, why didn't they use a flashback from the previous film? Why did they go to all that extravagance of a 5-minute flashback?
If you look at the second film, it carried on from the first film, and there was sense to it. That he didn't get his head chopped off because the guy saved him, wasn't it? And they chopped somebody else's head off. But this one just went, hold on, this don't carry on at all.
And he made the Frankenstein look worse, but it was a Universal Monsters Frankenstein monster, and I don't get it because we had Christopher Lee for the first one, and he had a particular look and gait. He improved on the design for the second one. So why would he go backwards?
I mean, that makeup for the monster,
it was awful.
Paper mache mask.
It was
you
terrible.
could see his eyes through under the mask.
Yeah, you could see them blinking in the bit there, and God's sake, I've worn better masks on the channel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was
yeah, well, basically, Hammer production. No, I mean, it is an acting. This is the old school sort of acting trip. It's like, would you have a certain production company to have a certain number of actors to use, and you'll see the same actors reoccur time and time again. Like, we have mentioned it during what are we on, the 15th movie now? And the same writers and directors pop up. That's why we're saying they went back to the original tone, but something's went wrong here.
Because in previous films, yes, they do use the same extras, but it's not noticeable. But this one, I thought, hold on, you could actually see it was the same actor in the background that was in a previous unrelated scene, and on several of the actors and actresses. But Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know.
But anyway,
Perhaps we were hoping that we didn't see it. But...
I don't think they cared. I honestly don't. The moral thing about this movie, they don't care. But they're heading to his hometown now because he's been chased out of this one because he's a moron. Like, they've made him a complete moron now, which is annoying.
Yeah, because
he was careful. Even in the second one, he was careful. He's working in the hospital.
He switched on, didn't he?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen him lose his temper, but when he sees that guy wearing his ring, God, he's like a madman possessed, isn't he?
It's almost like they needed the plot to happen.
Yeah.
And they just don't care. And like,
if you were in that much, because they went into the thing saying, "Oh, we'll have to keep a low profile," and the carnival's on, so that was first. And then he stands up there, gets a couple of masks from Woolworths, doesn't he? And then and then makes himself known, really.
And nobody else was wearing masks, so they kind of stood out as well. So when they were in the tent with Zoltan doing this act, they're the only two people wearing masks, and they stood out like that's why they called up this stage, because it stood out like a sore thumb. Stupid. But on the way to the town, obviously, Frankenstein and Hals are by coach, and they knock down this beggar girl who we get introduced to getting harassed in the village. So we'll automatically know she has a part to play in this. She's not just a bit character, she's a main character.
Yeah.
But what a waste.
Yeah, because she's just she can't talk, but then he finds the monster, doesn't he? That's frozen in plastic. Did you see that?
Oh,
the ice was more of a plastic bag. See-through plastic cling film, really. And you could see it wasn't ice, that it was plastic.
Yep. And not a bit of smoke when he lights a full fire.
Yeah.
Not one bit of smoke. Like, you'd be choking.
Yeah. Oh,
silly. But yeah, he goes to the it just acts like an absolute idiot. And I'm just wondering, like, Peter Cushing's the sort of actor that would have something to say. Would you free? Like, he when he's playing Van Helsing, he wouldn't do certain things like the Dark Ritual because he didn't believe the character would do that.
No.
But here, he's got Victor Frankenstein acting like a absolute idiot, like a fool, not even deranged. Like, he's not acting like Victor Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein, Peter Cushing's version, is cold and calculated and has an end game and will use people and cast them aside. Here we've got an over-emotional, blithering idiot who just stumbles about the place.
Yeah.
And the fact that he thought his chateau would be left alone and untouched, considering the number of years he's been away from it.
He's supposed to have been head chopped off, wasn't he? And,
yeah.
What are they going to do? I mean, in this day and age, you'd have all the squatters in.
Yeah, but they would have taken it off him anyway as part of his, because he got imprisoned and was sentenced to execution. They would have taken it off him, given it to a baron or somebody, another baron, passed on the title. He would have had his baronhood stripped off him as well because of his crimes.
Yeah,
it's very, very odd, but this is almost like an alternative timeline because he's been executed, managed to escape, living under a false identity, and he got caught, obviously, under that false identity because his experiments went too far. This has been a number of years, even in the world, not even physically, but in the actual world of this going on. There's no way a chateau would have just been left for him.
Oh, no. No, considering his crimes, they might have even burnt it down.
No, but not even. I don't think it would have burned it down. They would have repossessed it. They would have given it to another somebody else. Would you know how royal titles work anyway? There's always has a baron, and it'll get passed on to someone else, or someone gets awarded the title for services to the state. It's same as Duke and Duchess and everything else. The title remains with the land. It's not necessarily owned by a particular person, but if they lose their title or pass on or die, the title, and there's no heirs, then the title goes back to the crown, and the crown redistributes it. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
That would have definitely happened after his execution. And that's just basics. That's me not being a historian. That's me just having thick working class common knowledge. How do these smart people, smarter than me, not know this? The clever writers and the clever thespians and the clever, upper echelons of the Hammer Productions. How do they not know that basic fact?
Yeah. I was noticing that a lot of the actors again were TV series actors. Everyone down from the girl to the guy who played Zoltan, the police officers. They all seem to be mostly TV actors.
They're just happy to be there.
Hey, I'm in a film.
The only one that was trying was the girl, but they give her nothing for her character to do, really, apart from point the monster.
Because she was limited with her speech, because she was mute, wasn't she? But
why?
Apart from the fact that she was speaking to the monster,
yeah,
and then they let her come back to the lab, didn't they?
But they didn't even play with that. That could have been that she had a connection to the monster and was able to calm him down and or get through to him. But even that served no purpose. And also, what happened to her bloody shoes? She had shoes. Even when she was living in a cave, she goes to live in the chateau and her shoes go missing, like for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, was that her price of admit? Did they nick her shoes on her? I don't know why that annoys me, but it just seemed so random, a random thing to do.
Yeah. The guy who played the creature, he didn't act in much. After this, like two other acting gigs, that was about it.
Probably hard enough.
I'm going back to being a
look, man. More fun than this, wearing silly masks and looking stupid. Oh God.
But I mean, the writer Anthony Hines, he's done that one we reviewed, the old Dark House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was. I'm sure he was the writer for that. The joint writer as well for the Phantom of the Opera.
Possibly, yeah. He probably wrote the sewer scenes.
He's done an awful lot for them, but he's done the screenplay for this, and it wasn't.
Maybe he's not good on his own. He needs a assistant.
Yeah.
He needs to work with somebody. Maybe he just can't carry the script for an entire movie on his own. Or like I just have this feeling this movie was made for the sake of making it. They needed another, because we've had a couple of disappointing movies, and I'm pretty sure, like, we don't have the information, but I'm pretty sure the returns weren't that great, and people were rumbling and not happy. And I think they needed to return to form, and this was their idea. Let's make another Frankenstein movie and get Peter Cushing. But they didn't think about it. They didn't care. Why not carry on with the story?
See, I think
I can't even remember at the end of
loosely on the Frankenstein story. You had the the mad professor who was putting together human body parts. This one, it sort of went along with the hypnosis and they didn't seem to know where they were to do the experiments and trying to escape. Where are we going? We're going up there, up to the mountain. And oh yes, there's a girl up there. Oh, she's talking to our monster. I mean, what was the sense in that? What would be the chances of them going up to the top of this mountain to escape, only to find the monster who got frozen?
It was silly. Sorry, The Revenge of Frankenstein. I'm trying to remember how that ended. He didn't die, did he?
No. The Revenge of Frankenstein. No, he didn't die, did he?
Didn't he get banged up again? I could have sworn he got locked up again. Hang on, I'm going to have to look this up because maybe I should have before this. But the
Jimmy Sankstone, I'm thinking of, is the other writer who this Anthony Hindstone teams up with. And Jimmy Sankstone actually did the other two Frankenstein things.
No, in The Revenge of Frankenstein, sure, he took on a new persona as a doctor in London. Called himself Dr. Frank, do you remember?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so no reason for this stupid, convoluted storyline. This should have just carried on.
Himself.
Hmm?
And in the Revenge of Frankenstein, Peter Cushing called himself Dr. Victor Stein.
Yeah, but then he got found out.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody recognized him, but then we'll see him again later. He becomes then Dr. Frank.
Yeah.
And he takes on a new persona.
Yeah.
So he was still carrying on. So this whole thing of going back to the start to rewrite that movie out of existence and even rewrite the first one because, like I said, that 5-minute flashback scene of him creating a new monster with more modern equipment than what he had.
Yeah. It just didn't make sense.
And it looked like a 60s sci-fi movie when he was in the lab.
Yeah.
It didn't look like something cobbled together in the 1800s, which had done very well in the first two movies. Like, they made it look as if it was technology of the time. This one, it looked like it was something out of Lost in Space.
Yeah.
All you needed was Robbie the Robot to turn up.
Yeah.
And it would have made, you wouldn't have noticed because just the way the double light bulbs and everything just looked like a neon light bulbs.
The other thing, which didn't make sense as well, when Frankenstein made him hypnotize the monster, and then as soon as he hypnotized him, he went, "Wake him up!" Oh,
and then he knocks him out.
Yeah. Well,
why
hypnotize him? What are you going to say? Wake him up!
It was a mess. Think about the curse. The Curse of Frankenstein, the first one, you see him actually working with the monster, Christopher Lee's version. You see him trying to, throughout the movie, getting him to obey commands and get him to move and take control of himself. In The Revenge of Frankenstein, we'll see the new monster, he's transposed into a new body. And we'll see him in the bed trying to get his memories back. And
the guy who played the monster in that was Lord Melbury in Fawlty Towers.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? You had a story arc there.
Yeah.
This one, it's like, and it just made no sense.
I think, as well, with the square forehead, I think they tried to make him too much like Boris Karloff.
Yeah, and the boots and the costume.
Yeah.
You can understand why Universal went, yeah, that's our monster you're using.
Yeah.
But Universal have distributed for the other two, haven't they? So I don't know why this change in tone.
Didn't they move away from Universal Hammer?
Yeah, but that was the Strange movies. This is them coming back to Universal again, but Universal was involved with the other two. I can almost swear.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the decisions that are being made by this movie.
Just looking.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange one.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, very. It didn't hit me as a, a film that I would have sat down and gone, "Cool, gotta watch this again." I know I only returned on Saturday in any case, so I wouldn't have had the chance to watch it 3 times as well. But I don't think I would have in any case.
There's no need. There's no plot there.
That was about it.
It's a series of circumstances just to make the plot move forward, and it's like, why are you doing this? Even the bit with Zoltan. Okay, so they decide that he's operating without a license, so they decide to ping him. And they told him to be out of town, and then he's worried about being caught. But if he went up to the chateau in his caravan and just parked the caravan, who was going to go up there? The place was abandoned.
Yeah.
Just even the dialogue and the reasoning between the characters just made no sense. And then just to throw Zoltan out after like the first incident and Zoltan just getting drunk for no reason, and then Zoltan deciding, oh, I know what, I'll send this monster down to nick gold and rob the church and go to have revenge. What did he need revenge? Nobody did anything on him.
Bit of a plonko, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's like, okay, he's operating without a license. He didn't bribe the right people and he got kicked out of town. That's no reason to be sending a monster rampaging to murder people. Do you know what I mean? There's no sense, rhyme, or reason. And then he tries to get frisky with Beggar Girl.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you... Right, we know you're a dick. We've heard you talking for more than 20 seconds. We know your character's a dick. You don't need to ram it home. And it's like, what is this movie? Just to set up some strange antagonism. And we've seen Frankenstein, obviously, in previous movies. He's not afraid to bump somebody off. Like he pushed the judge. Remember, he pushed him down the banister?
Yeah.
So he could nick his brain. The professor, sorry, he pushed him over the banister. He's not afraid to take people out. And this guy's a threat. Why didn't he get bopped over the head, dealt with?
Oh, made another monster.
Yeah. But this should have been the whole movie. I'm trying again to make a new monster. But instead of wasting time, that flashback was basically showing him making a new monster to using it. It was just stupid.
It just seemed, like I said, it just seems the stupid thing was, oh, we're going up the mountain. Why? Why are you going up the mountain? Oh, look, I found the monster up the mountain, frozen. And the chances.
No gear either, just in their suits.
Oh yeah, no, freezing cold up there, and yeah, it just didn't.
It was contrived.
It was just silly. It would be like, I mean, if you take one of the Dracula films, I don't know if we haven't reviewed it yet, where he goes up there and Dracula's in the ice, and the guy falls over and hurts himself, and his blood drips down through the ice to Dracula. Because Dracula did die up there, chances are he would have been frozen in the ice. And it made sense. But this, what was he doing up the mountain, this monster?
Yeah.
And how did he freeze up the mountain? There was no backstory to it. Not at all.
No, and they didn't care.
No.
Like I said, there's no actual story. This is plot points just to get the next point. It's all conveniences and contrivance, and they're not even sticking to the characters. And there weren't difficult characters to stick to. And you've even got the same actor back playing the same character, Victor Frankenstein, and he acts nothing like it. And I'm just surprised Peter Cushing had nothing to say on this. Was he short of a few bob? Needed the work?
I mean, if anything, he would have been more deranged than he was in the second one. You know, he would have really wanted to, you know, build another body. He wouldn't have bothered about going up the mountain and saying, "Oh, look, there's my monster." He would have been like he was looking to do
the next one. That was the old monster. You know, that was the previous version. He's not interested anymore.
Yeah, but you know,
and he would have been
he doesn't.
master of disguise. You know, he worked in hospitals and he used the poor and amputated their limbs under that guise to get his body. So going back to just the normal grave robbing again is stupid. And recreating the experiments that he already had perfected. Do you know what I mean? The body parts and the tanks. He's done that.
Yeah.
He's beyond that. You know,
why didn't he use the guise of the carnival and saying, "Oh well, it's a carnival. They're not going to recognise us." Why, if that was the case, why didn't he use that to say, "Hey, let's do someone over and get another body"? It would have been simple.
Or just find somewhere to. It was the whole thing was just silly. Like I said, in the whole Zoltan thing, if Zoltan had kept his head down for like 2 or 3 days, stayed out of the bottle, you can't trust alcoholics anyway. But he just had to keep his head down, stay out of the bottle. He'd have been clear and not brought any attention.
Even the monster was thinking,
"Oh God, that was." I think they were trying to hint that Zoltan's personality went into the monster. But then he didn't drink, and then he went to drink pure chloroform or something. And you're just like, what are you doing? It was silly. The whole thing was silly. The beggar girl served no purpose.
Apart from talking to the...
But that served no purpose either, because she didn't communicate with him. Then we get the mob coming up from the village. So once again, they're marching on the castle. And yeah, they burn the place down. It was a decent explosion, I have to say that. For the time, it was a decent explosion. But you can see it was just the one bit of crop that they blew up, and the rest was the painting behind it. They blew up the one like tower of stuff, and the rest was just it wasn't a scale model or anything. It was just a painting. It was brilliant. But that was it. There's not really much more to talk about. This is going to.
There's not. It's
Bugger all happiness of worth in this movie.
Just wasn't. I mean, there wasn't really a story like that, was it? It was a thing of, oh, what can we do here? Oh, I know. That's a guy who can hypnotize people. And he hypnotizes the monster. And you think, right? If we were to go, yeah, but you know, what's that got to do with Frankenstein? You know, I'm not even sure. Back in the late 1800s, well, there must have been people who've done hypnosis, I suppose. Did you notice?
Mentalists and parasuggestion. I mean, that's the oldest carnival tricks.
Merry-go-rounds and everything. I questioned whether the one that they had was actually made in the late 1800s.
I just, like I said, if they had driven up a Morris Minor up the main street during the carnival, I wouldn't have been surprised. They really did not give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, the whole thing was just.
I had a chance to look at it, but I know because in New York City they had they were, you know, what's some call it, redoing it up. The world's oldest merry-go-round.
Coney Island.
No, this was in Central Park. Back in 2012, they were they had this old merry-go-round, and they were oh god, where they redo it up to its former glory. I'm trying to think of the bloody
1865. The Vermeulen Bowden Carousel. A Neville thing.
Right. The one that they had was more of a modern one, I'm sure of it.
10 oldest carousels in the US. Northampton, Kansas, Indiana, South Dakota. Let's go down to the bottom. Massachusetts. No, apparently the Flying Horse Carousel in Massachusetts, 1876. Washington D.C., 1890. Pennsylvania. Rhode Island. Where's that? Isn't that New York?
No, don't think so. Rhode Island.
Yeah, New York's not even getting a look in here. Just looking at the 10 old carousels in the US.
Yeah.
New York's not even getting a look in. And the newest one list was 1900, 1912.
Rhode Island is US state by itself, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Can't remember.
It's
but no, it's not even getting a look in. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, I was just I was really disappointed.
Yeah, they could have done something.
And the random comedy pieces with the police, like one of the constables decides to pretend to be the Burgomaster for half a second. He doesn't even put on the uniform. He's just staring in the middle and go, "I'm the Burgomaster," and then the monster kills him because he thinks he's the Burgomaster. The fact that Zoltan's given the monster these complex instructions: go here and do this, and go there and do that, and go and do the other thing, and then the monster goes and does it. You're like, hang on a minute, this thing's not meant to be able to comprehend, or its brain's meant to be healing. What the hell?
Yeah, it's a strange thing to do, hypnosis. It takes longer than than they look into the eyes of you under. It's and to try and
who do you call him? Darren Brown?
A brain damaged monster.
Yeah.
Just surely it would be so difficult to do that.
Yep. No, but isn't it Darren Brown said, for the stage show that he brings the volunteers up and it's like hours, like it spends about 3 hours with them before the show.
Yeah.
And you can only be hypnotized if you want to be. It's one of them, you have to allow yourself to be hypnotized.
You have to clear your mind.
Yeah, but he said it's a 3-hour process. I've seen him. He's the only one that's done sort of shows going a wee bit in depth, not the exact techniques, but the fact that what he does, and then the bit of them actually coming up on the stage is just the icing on the cake, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, but movies do that though with things like hypnosis and stuff. They make it look as offensive because they don't have time unless that's a whole storyline. But this didn't have a storyline. It was bits of plot just thrown together.
Yeah.
That's my issue with it. There's no rhyme the reason or story or
again, it was the third part of Terminator 3. It meant nothing to the plot whatsoever. And I think this was the same. This was number 3. And it just didn't fit in with any of the sense of the first two. Even though we sort of knocked the second one, and it still wasn't as bad as this, but it did have a plot to a certain degree.
At least tried.
Yeah.
And we saw progression from the first set of experiments to the second set. This just went silly, and they nicked the Universal Monsters template.
Yeah.
In fact, he looked more like Herman Munster than Frankenstein's monster. Herman Munster looks better, and that was a bloody TV show.
Yeah. It was just a real bad mask.
Yeah.
Like
No, but the boots as well. Don't forget the boots and the costume.
Yeah.
He's clunking about in the big heavy boots of, you know, and you're just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah. But it was like, yeah. It's like something that a mask that you used to make at school. You know, when you used to pile on glue and loads of paper.
Yeah, that was the thing I discovered in later life, because in school they made you use newspaper, but if you use tissue paper, it's far superior.
Oh, right.
It absorbs better, absorbs the glue better, and fits molds more into the contours of a shape.
Didn't know that.
I tried it myself, and honestly, never looked back. Like, even a roll of toilet paper is actually better than a. You can get more out of it as well.
Yeah. I suppose if you use used toilet paper, you don't need to paint it either, do you?
I'll give you that one. This is just a good movie, and I can't really say much more about it. It's fucking just. He gets burned alive, I think, or is that the next one? He may have escaped. He runs back for the monster. And it's just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not a lot you can say about this one. It's a poor entry into the trilogy so far.
yep.
Oh, we got 2 more Frankenstein movies, isn't
Yeah. I'd say the first one.
Boris Karloff is my favourite.
Nobody's asking by Hammer.
Oh, you mean by Hammer? Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Curse of Frankenstein. Christopher Lee, you know, those two just naturally bounce off each other.
Yeah, totally. And you can just see in your mind them giving each other acting tips and
just got that on.
Look at that, and you know, yeah. But yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But anyway, we've got the Gorgon next. Peter Cushing again.
I know the Gorgon. I really enjoyed that film.
Yeah, that's one of the classics. So, I don't know why Peter Cushing would come back to Hammer after that last episode, like after this movie. Why would he work with a company again? He'd be doing his own thing.
It's like you said that Hammer's started to go out of business, didn't it?
Yeah, you can see why. We're starting to see why this is happening.
It's like any other company, isn't it? If you give them rubbish, they'll put you out of business.
But it's interesting to see companies like Universal and Warner Brothers have been going pretty much the same time. But for the most part, they've kept themselves. They've done enough good movies and developed a reputation for quality. When we look back at the Hammer horror, we'll think of Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, and we'll think of these great movies. And we'll sort of scratch our heads going, why did the company go out of business? They should have been going forever. I think now, going through these one by one and seeing the timeline, we can understand they're having more misses than hits.
But there are some good ones to come.
Yeah, but is it enough?
Yeah.
Is it enough? Are the hits enough to carry the losses? That's like saying Disney at the moment is safe and secure because of one movie recently, considering the fact they've had like 10 failures, like losses at the box office.
Because I think, with Disney, they
look at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers at the moment is a mess. It's going to get bought over by somebody.
Disney have picked a story that no kid's ever heard of, and no one had heard of Pocahontas. You ask any kid, oh, should we go and see Pocahontas? Who's Pocahontas? And it wasn't until that they actually marketed the thing to say, oh, she's a princess, an Indian princess or whatever.
Yeah, but that was back even when they were still making an effort. Look at now, like that was, God, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You think when that came out, like that's not Disney today. And what I'm saying is, like Hammer, we're seeing this happen back then with Hammer. Why aren't these why aren't these studies? If you're getting into filmmaking, if you're getting into the entertainment industry, why aren't you looking back at these institutions and how they failed and what happened? Why aren't film students looking at these and seeing where they went wrong? Because if they had went right, this Hammer horror would still be going today, strong as ever, with the likes of Universal, who's still going. And even though Universal's had a bit of a ropey past, they're still being consistent enough that they're going strong today.
Yeah.
Paramount, Warner Brothers, Disney,
There could be. Here's one of
are all in trouble today because of
Steve's conspiracy theories. Is Universal have done the release rights on this, haven't they?
Mhm.
They thought this film shit. We want to be in charge of all the horror films. Let's get rid of Hammer about it and then release this crap.
Let them sink themselves.
Yeah, and
But even before Universal,
we've agreed that yes, they can use the Universal monster in their film, but theirs looks crap anyway. They're going to bury themselves by doing it, and
yeah,
it won't be known as a Universal film. It'll be a Hammer horror film.
yeah.
Hammer horror bury itself.
But it shouldn't have got to that point when, you know what I mean? We've seen when Hammer Horror does it well. And the fact that it's got that bad, you just got to wonder what's going on. Something's went wrong. And did they think they were untouchable? Is this where they thought, because it wasn't just Hammer Horror, but there were the Sherlock Holmes movies, the Adventures, the Sinbad series, all that was going on at the same time. There were big, Hammer Films was a big concern.
Yeah.
Did they think they were too big to fail? And that's what I'm asking. Why aren't studies being done? If you're getting into the filmmaking industry or even business, entertainment business, surely there should be a module where you're looking at these things and seeing what went wrong.
Down as far as today.
And then replicate, you know what I mean, and see what's happening today and go, well, that's already happened here. Here's the direction this is going. Let's not do that. I just don't understand.
They'll release a flop, but then suddenly they'll do a sequel to the flop. And they'll think, oh, we know that one flopped, but let's
that
try.
Cost us 100 million. Let's do that again.
Try again, shall we? And see if we can get it right this time. No, don't. And yeah, you begin to wonder whether the sense was back there in the 60s where, this one might have flopped, you don't know. And yet they thought, should we try again?
I think they would have done well in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
Because it was Frankenstein and it was Peter Cushing back. And Hammer Horror. Those three things together. Sure, we were excited. Oh, we're go back to normal. We've watched 2 or 3 bad movies and we're like, oh, you know what I mean? Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, the old Dark House was all right, but it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't set in as fire. Kiss of the Vampire wasn't set in as fire. The Damned wasn't set in as fire. The Phantom of the Opera didn't. Shadow the Cat was a weird comedy. Curse of the Werewolf was brilliant. You know what I mean? We've had 1, 2, 3, but 6 movies there almost in a row that weren't setting the world on fire. So we were feeling excited. Oh, we're back to Frankenstein. We're back to Peter Cushing. We're back to what we know best, what Hammer Horror is famous for. And then we get this.
Yeah. And it's a disappointment. Very much so.
Yeah, I just I don't get the thought process behind it, but there you go. That is the entertainment business run by absolute flakes. Like how movies get made or the industry stays afloat, I have no idea, because it's just the whole thing's an enigma how it works.
Oh, we'll never understand it. It happens today, and it's happened in the past. And,
yeah, it'll happen in the future.
You know, it's probably an accounting thing. Oh, we've got too much money. Let's lose a couple of 100 million.
Send it my way. All you billionaires out there, honestly, if you really want to get rid of money, I'll take it. I'll use it. No problem.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll say thank you. And I'll not call you names.
I didn't tell you, did I? On Saturday, I won the lottery. 6 numbers I had. So I rung up Camelot and said, I've won the lottery, 6 numbers. They said, oh, you've got to wait a week for your money. I said, well, if you're not going to give it to me now, then it's just give me my pound back, cheapskates.
Oh, dear. On that happy note, we'll be back for the Gorgon. At least I'll be better. We'll get back into old form. But I think we're starting to see the pattern here and the downfall. We've got quite a few movies to go.
I can tell you that if you don't like the Gorgon, I'm going to kick you one. I really enjoyed the Gorgon. It's probably one of the.
Yeah, no, I've seen it before. Just it's been a while, but yeah, that's one of the classics. No, it's well known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think we're going to see what's going on. But there you go, folks. Thanks for everybody tuning in. And until next time, go up the channel, do the type of clicky things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.